What's up, everybody in YouTube world? Today we are going to teach you how to use the dynamic radar cruise control on a vehicle with Toyota Safety Sense. Now, this particular vehicle that I'm in is equipped with the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0. This is a 2022 Toyota Venza, for the record. If you have the older or more basic version of Safety Sense, the radar cruise control will only work at speeds above about 28 miles per hour. This particular one is more of an all-speed system, meaning that it can bring the vehicle to a complete stop. So please keep that in mind. So the operation of the system is pretty simple. First step is to push this button with the little car with the clock on it. That's actually a speedometer. So we push that to activate the system. And then this will tell us that we have our system activated. Once we're on the road and we have reached the speed that we desire, we push that button to set our speed. We can then push the plus to increase the speed or the minus to resume the speed. Press RES to resume cruising if we've had to hit the brakes or something like that. This little icon with the car with the sonar waves coming out of the front of it, that is how we adjust our following distance. So we can choose a longer or a shorter following distance. And this icon right here on this particular car activates the lane tracing. So the lane tracing is a system to where if the vehicle can read the lane lines, it will kind of take control of the steering wheel and attempt to keep you in the center of your lane. It is not meant to be a self-driving system. You still need to keep your hands on the steering wheel. If you take your hands off of the steering wheel, the vehicle will get mad at you. So let's get this thing out on the road and see how it works. So just for the record, I'm going to use this guy on the left side of the steering wheel, and I'm going to bring up that graphic so that I can show y'all what I'm doing better. Okay, so we're going to push the little car with the clock to turn the system on, and we're going to push the button that says set, and now we're set. And I'm going to increase my speed a little bit, and I'm going to push the car with the sonar waves coming out of it to decrease my following distance. So on this graphic, when it shows the car in front of me, that means that it's locked on to the car in front of me, and that car is slowing down. The vehicle is braking. Now this guy's going to get out of the way, but it still knows what to do. So it has just brought itself to a complete stop. I didn't do that. Again, this is part of the Safety Sense 2.0 system. If you have the older or the more basic version of Safety Sense, then your vehicle will not bring itself to a complete stop. Now the light is turned green, we start moving, so we just press that RES button to resume, and off we go. We are now cruising once again. Now, a couple of things to note when you're using this system. Again, it's not self-driving. You still need to pay attention. You need to make sure that the car is doing what it's supposed to do. You need to keep your hand on the steering wheel to make sure that the steering is in play, even though right now my lane tracing assist is active, as you can see from those big blue lines on either side of the car there on my screen. And you have to kind of keep in mind what type of vehicle you're following. The example I always use is a flatbed truck with nothing in the bed. Is the car locked on to the actual rear of the vehicle, or is it locked on to the back of the cab? So that's something to always keep an eye on. The other thing is, if somebody cuts you off really hard from the side, just hit the brakes. The dynamic radar cruise control works the same in standard cruise control, in that if you hit the brakes on either one, you cancel the cruise control out and you're now in control of the vehicle. So the dynamic radar system is mainly meant to look forward. It doesn't have fantastic peripheral vision. It does have some, but it's not looking for somebody to cut you off. If somebody changes lanes at a reasonable distance from you, it will pick that up and that'll be fine. But if they are changing lanes like right in front of you, like severely cutting you off, just hit the brake, take control away from the system, make sure you don't hit the car in front of you, and then once you're again at a reasonable distance, then just go ahead and hit that resume button right there to re-engage the dynamic radar cruise control. So also when you're at a complete stop, you can just hit the gas and that will re-engage the system as well. So again, you can either hit that resume button on the steering wheel or you can just hit the gas pedal. Either one will re-engage the dynamic radar cruise control once it's brought the vehicle to a complete stop, again on the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 system. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about the following distances. So again, we adjust that with this little button with the sonar waves coming out of the car. 3 bars is the longest following distance, 2 bars is the medium, and 1 bar is the shortest. Now, I live in Southern California, which is obviously a pretty high traffic area, and I always use the shortest following distance whenever I am using any kind of adaptive cruise control system. The reason for that is, especially on the freeways, if you use one of the longer settings, you just give people too much room to cut in front of you, and then the car recognizes, you know, the new target in front of it, and it wants to back off further because you've got the long following distance selected, and you're essentially going to end up going in reverse on the freeway. So I always use the shorter following distances whenever I am driving around town or in heavily trafficked areas. If I am out on a long drive, like a road trip, that sort of a thing, I will engage the longer following distance because at that point there's no real risk of anybody cutting me off. So I give more room between myself and the car in front of me. But even here, I mean, I've got the shortest following distance set, and you can see it's leaving a reasonable amount of room in between myself and the car in front of me. And again, this is a dynamic system, so that following distance can actually change based on the speed that you're going. So if you're going 30 miles an hour, it's going to be a shorter following distance than if you're going 70 miles an hour. So anyway, that is how you use the dynamic radar cruise control with the Toyota Safety Sense 2.0 system. Again, this will also work with the basic Safety Sense system. It just only works at higher speeds above 28 miles an hour from what I've read. So just keep that in mind if you do have one of those systems. But either way, it is a nice feature to use. I really prefer, obviously, the one that can bring the car to a complete stop because it does its best work in traffic. So if you're considering buying one of these cars and upgrading to a model that has the Safety Sense 2.0 system, if you do a lot of time in stop and go traffic, it's probably worth it to you. If you don't, maybe it's not. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, blah, 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 and have a nice day. Bye-bye.